Do you ever wonder what the most optimal morning routine is? How much more productive you could be? How much more energy you could have? Imagine that just for a second. This is exactly what I'm going to talk about in this video. How to set up your morning routine so it's as simple as possible while giving you as much energy so you can be more productive throughout the whole day, not only the first few hours. The truth is, most people think that energy comes from coffee or from waking up on the right side of the bed, but that's totally not true. You can actually control how much energy you have yourself with your morning routine. This is actually a question that I've gotten a lot from the men that I've worked with, and just in general, they always ask me, what is the optimal morning routine? So I decided that's why I should make this video. Now, if this is the first time you watch one of my videos, my name is Raphael Al-Najaar and I am a medical doctor. And I work with business owners, ambitious men, successful men who really want to take their health to the next level and to become superhuman. To either have more energy, be more productive, and overall just feel better. So let's get into what we're going to talk about today in this video. First, we're going to talk about the 3 simple habits that will literally take your energy levels and your productivity to the next level. Those are hydration, movement, and then fuel, if you should eat or not eat. And then in the end, I'm going to give you some advanced tips that you can use then to really go to the next level and take your energy levels, your productivity as high as possible. And what I'm going to make sure is that you can implement these changes in your life from tomorrow morning. So it doesn't need any drastic change. It doesn't need too much time to use. You can change your morning habits starting tomorrow and see if you really feel the difference that most men do when they do these things. So let's get into it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is hydration. And hydration is so important first thing in the morning because when you sleep, you will sweat and you will lose water through your breath. Now, it's always estimated how much water you're going to lose and how many electrolytes, how many salts you're going to lose. But that's why it's always a good idea to drink some water, 1 to 2 glasses first thing in the morning after waking up. You can always add a pinch of salt, some electrolytes, or a little bit of lime to get some vitamin C as well in the morning to really feel that boost of energy. Now, it's funny because this was one of the first things that I did where I really felt a huge boost. A short-term boost though, but still a boost. You wake up, you drink, you literally chug 1 to 2 glasses of water, maybe with a little bit of salt, Celtic salt or whatever, and then you feel that boost instantly. And there's no reason not to do that because you've sweat, you've lost some electrolytes during your sleep, like we said. And so this is one very good way of replenishing your storages of salt, potassium, sodium, whatever you've lost during the night. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you some energy. It's going to increase the blood flow in your body overall and give you that sensation of, okay, now I'm feeling good. Now I'm ready to take on the day. And so once you've done that, you've refueled your car, you've refueled your body, and you're ready to really start. So the next step after that is movement. Now, when I say movement, I don't necessarily mean that you have to spend an hour in the gym first thing in the morning, but at least do some kind of movement. That could be 5 to 10 minutes of stretching, doing push-ups, doing shadow boxing, anything that gets the blood flow in your body flowing, right? Getting your pulse up a little bit, just getting some movement in. Because the truth is, it takes energy to create energy. And everyone has felt that. Everyone knows how this feels. When you just lay in bed or lay on the couch the whole day, you know that you're feeling sluggish. Your brain is not really on par with what it's used to doing. And you're not feeling that energized. You're not feeling concentrated. So it takes energy to create energy. And that's why you need to do a little bit of movement. Whether, again, that's shadow boxing, it can be just a little bit of stretching, taking out that energy with your breath, spreading it out throughout your whole body and really preparing for your day. I was part of the study back when I was in high school. I was a student, and there were some university students who came and tested how physical activity is correlated to intelligence and how it's correlated to answering correctly on tests. So what they did was they asked us how we got to the school. Did we bike? Did we walk? Were we driven? Did we drive ourselves? Did we take the bus? Right? So they took these two groups, essentially people who did physical activity before coming to school and people who were sedentary, who were driven, or who took the bus to school. And then we had to do a cognitive test. And they saw that if you did physical activity, if you walked to school, if you took your bike to school, you would have a higher chance of answering correct on some of these tests that they did on us than if you were sedentary, if you didn't do any physical activity. Now, obviously, this is correlation. It's not necessarily causation. There are so many confounders to a study like this. It could be people who live closer to school, come from a higher social layer. Maybe their parents have more money and they have just inherited their, let's say, genetic predisposition to being intelligent. All of these things, confounders. But it was still pretty interesting to see that if you did some sort of physical activity, you would still score higher on some of these cognitive tests. So you would literally be smarter. And what I do now is I use this in my day-to-day life. If I go to the office, if I go to the hospital in the morning, I try to walk at least 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes I walk 30 minutes before getting in because it stimulates you. You get the blood flowing in your body. You raise your pulse a little bit. And then when you're there, you're already awake, you're already fresh, you're ready to take on the day. Especially when you when you live off of using your brain as your, let's say, primary mechanism to solve problems, you always have to be on point. So using movements, using your body first thing in the morning is very underrated, and I truly believe that most people should do this. This is one of the things that can help you sustain your energy levels for a longer period of time. So do a little bit of movement. It doesn't have to take more than 5-10 minutes. If you can walk to work, if you can park your car a little bit further away or take the bus stop before where you usually go off, do that. And then walk a little bit more first thing in the morning. That's a very, very good habit to have, to install in your everyday life that will give you more energy and help you cognitively increase your performance of your brain. So now let's get into the next thing, which is fueling your body. If you should fuel it or if you shouldn't fuel it. Because what you should eat or what you shouldn't eat can actually make or break your day. This is the morning habit that will have the longest impact on the rest of your day. Because if you eat in the morning, if you do that, and if you eat something that is carbohydrate rich, you will have more fluctuations in your blood sugar that in the end will lead, first of all, to you having less energy, less focus, and you're also prone to actually eating more. So eating more calories. If you eat what most people do when they eat oatmeal or eat something that is very carb rich. So should you eat or should you not eat? If you pick the first option, which is eating, you should focus on getting a bunch of protein and some fat and then avoiding the carbs. Because when you do that, you will have a stable blood sugar level. So when you eat protein, you eat fat, you are not influencing your blood sugar. It will be more stable. You'll probably get a little bit of bump, but that's it. And that's exactly what you need to have for increased cognitive performance. So increased performance of your brain, being able to solve problems faster, more efficiently, and staying more energetic. I've actually recorded a video on exactly that, the optimal nutrition for mental and physical performance. I'm going to put it right there in the corner and then you can click to see that. But so I don't want to go too much into the specifics of the blood sugar and why this is so much better. You can watch that video for those details. But in general, you should opt for something that's protein heavy and with some fat, because your body will use that. It will use the fat to create what we call ketones, which is an energy source that is created from fat. That doesn't influence your blood sugar and it gives you that sustained level of energy. And some people even hypothesize that ketones is a more efficient fuel source for your brain. So you can use that. So when you do that, you are ready for the day. If you have to do physical performance, if you have to use your brain a lot, sit there behind a desk, this is one of the best things to do. An example of a meal could be eggs with a little bit of steak, for example, some ground beef and avocado. So that's very protein rich, and it's also with a good amount of healthy fats. You should avoid all the carbohydrates, the oatmeals, the milk, all these things. You should avoid that unless you're a professional athlete. But you know that if you're a professional athlete, you already know what you need to eat. Then you can add some more carbohydrates. Then it makes sense to do that because you have to do physical performance. But for most of you guys watching this video, you're a business owner. You're going to go to work. You're going to have your meetings. You're going to sit there and look at your computer. You're not going to do physical performance, right? So you don't have to eat carbohydrates. It's actually worse for you if you do that. So when you have to eat, if you want to opt for breakfast, opt for something that's protein rich and with a good amount of healthy fats. Now, the second option is, as I've said, intermittent fasting. Now, intermittent fasting means that you don't eat for a time window. This could be 18 hours, it could be 20 hours, it could be 12 hours. So usually when people do intermittent fasting, they fast from 6 p.m. So they have their dinner at 6 p.m. and then they have the next meal at 12 p.m. So that's a time window of 18 hours where they don't eat. That's intermittent fasting. If you do this, you are also, especially when you are fat adapted, so when your body has progressed to using fat as an energy source, you are using ketones again as an energy source. And like I said before, using ketones can be more efficient for your brain to work on, so you can solve problems faster, so you can feel better in general, have better mood, and in general just be more productive and more stable in your energy levels. If you do intermittent fasting, it's very important that you drink plenty of water, but you can also use something like caffeine to sustain that performance and give you a little bit of boost when you do that. One of the reasons this also works is because when you wake up in the morning, your body will give you what we call a cortisol spike. Cortisol is one of those hormones that we have that our body automatically will excrete into the bloodstream when we wake up, so we can use some of our storages for energy to give us a little bit of boost in the morning first thing. This is also why you shouldn't have coffee first thing in the morning. You should usually wait an hour and a half before you drink your first cup of coffee. So if you do drink coffee in the morning, you should wait 1.5 hours so you avoid that slump later afternoon. Because if you drink your coffee before an hour and a half after waking up, you usually get the cortisol spike and the caffeine spike at the same time. This is not always good for your energy levels. So when you do this, when you do the intermittent fasting, drink plenty of water. Like we said, the first thing, drink water, replenish your electrolytes, your salts, and have coffee an hour and a half, 90 minutes after waking up. It's very, very good to do that, because that will also sustain, and it will sustain your performance, your energy levels. People feel that they're sharper when they do that. And it's also a good thing if you have a little bit of weight that you want to get rid of, right? So if you're a little bit overweight, and most people are, to be honest, this is a great way to incorporate this into, let's say, a lifestyle where you are trying, or where you're working on shredding down for summer or whatever it is, trying to lose some weight. This is a great way to do that too. So whether you want to eat a protein-rich breakfast or you want to fast, this will set the environment, this will set the tone for the rest of your day, so you can really take on whatever you have to take on. Now, whatever you pick, you can try different things. You can try and see, is the fasting better for you? Is it better if you are a hungry person to eat in the morning? You can also influence this with what you eat late at night, so your dinner. If you eat something with a lot of carbs, you're going to feel hungrier in the morning. So downsize the amount of carbs you eat at dinner, and you will be able, because of the fat adaptation, because your body is using fat as an energy source, you will be able to go a longer time period without eating something in the morning. So now we've talked about the 3 different habits. Let's now go on to the advanced tips that we can talk about. The first one is sleep hygiene. Like I've mentioned in one of my other videos where I talk about the perfect night routine, we would like to have a consistent schedule, both when we go to sleep, but also when we wake up. When we do that, when we wake up at the same time, we are also setting our circadian rhythm, our inner clock, so our brain knows what to do, when to excrete the different hormones and the different minerals it has to do. This will give us, again, a steady flow of energy. So when you do that, you will feel that you have more energy overall, and your sleep quality will also improve. The second thing on the list is cold showers. Now, cold showers, a lot of people, they talk about cold showers. You can also use something called contrast showers, where you switch from cold to hot. Doing this just for a little bit of time in the morning increases, it's kind of a stressor, right? It puts some stress on your body and it wakes you up instantly. This is one thing that you can do just to wake yourself up a little bit when you wake up in the morning. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, CEOs, they do cold showers in the morning and they're effective and all this. BS, essentially, right? If you don't get your work done, it doesn't matter how many cold showers you do. Cold showers are just a very good small habit that you can include, that you can integrate into your life, that takes literally 30 seconds, 60 seconds in the morning, if you're taking a shower anyways, to really light up your brain and give you some energy, stress your body in a controlled environment, and then give you some energy so you can go out and take on the day. The opposite of this could be meditation or even journaling. So when I started doing meditation, I always did it in the morning. I did it in the morning because I was not distracted. It was no one was talking to me. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't answer any messages, emails, whatever it was. And I also woke up at 4:30 in the morning, so that made it way easier. But that's how I learned to do meditation. It's a very good practice to look at yourself from a bird's eye perspective and just observing your thoughts and your emotions and just classifying them as that. When you do that, you start to be able to look at yourself from a bird's eye perspective instead of judging yourself. So you look at yourself, you close your eyes for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be longer than that. 10 minutes, you sit there and you look at yourself, you focus on your breath, and you're like, okay, that was an emotion. Okay, that was a thought. And that's a very good way of detaching yourself from the thoughts that you have. So you're clear on your goal, on your day, whatever you have to do that day. You're more productive because you've literally detached yourself from those thoughts and those emotions. That's what meditation can do. Another thing you can do is journaling. It is literally taking out the thoughts in your mind, putting them down on a piece of paper so you don't have to think about it anymore. This is also a hack you can use for when you're productive, when you're sitting down, you have to get some work done, is having, let's say, a piece of paper right next to you, notepad right next to you. You're sitting there and everyone knows this. Then you get a thought in your mind. You're like, oh, I have to do this. I have to remember this. It's a very good hack to have this piece of paper right next to you, because then you can note that down and then you know you don't have to remember it anymore because you've put it down on paper, so you can always look at it afterwards. That's the exact same thing with journaling. You can literally just jot down your thoughts, whatever you're thinking, and then you don't have to speculate on it anymore. You don't have to speculate on remembering it because now it's on paper or on your iPad, wherever. The important thing here is physically writing it down. There is some kind of connection between using a physical pen, writing down physically on paper or on an iPad, whatever you do, but physically writing it down than just writing it out on a computer using a keyboard. So that's also a very good way of detaching yourself and creating a calmer environment in your mind in general, so you can be more productive, get more work done. And for some of those people who have a little bit of, I don't want to call it anxiety, but they think a lot, they're overthinkers, this is one of the best ways to really manage that, is by writing those thoughts down and seeing them for what they are. They're thoughts. They're nothing else than that. And a lot of people, they live in a jail cell that they've created themselves because of their thoughts, right? So journaling, Very, very good habit to include as well if you have the time for it. Now, what I wanted to mention as well, and it says here a real workout, is a proper workout in the morning. If you have time, or rather, if you don't have time to work out during the day, it's way better to work out in the morning. Like we said before, you're not distracted. The gym is usually not filled, so it takes you even less time. You can have a more productive workout as well, and you get a very good boost of energy. This is where you probably get the biggest boost of energy when you mix this with a good breakfast. So if you do a real workout, and you guys, you know my workouts, they take less than 30 minutes. That's a very, very good workout. It's intense, and I'm ready for the day afterwards. When you mix that, the workout with good fuel, the protein heavy, and with the protein heavy breakfast with some fat, you will feel indestructible during the day, because you've done something that's very hard. You've done something that takes effort, because it takes effort to wake up in the morning, go to the gym, get a workout in, and then go eat, and then you can conquer the rest of the day. So doing that will set the scene for the rest of your day, really be able to increase your productivity. And also, you're not going to be able to use that excuse when during the day you're like, I actually don't have time to go work out. Now you've dealt with that earlier in your day, and the workout is done. Now, the biggest difference between working out in the morning and in the evening is logistically, it makes usually it makes more sense to work out in the morning, because you're distracted. You're not distracted. No one is texting you. You don't have to do anything because no one is up anyways. But your strength will suffer. Strength for us men usually tops around 4, 5, 6 p.m. So you will be able to lift heavier during the afternoon than you do in the morning. But logistically, it just makes more sense to work out in the morning, so you can increase your productivity, so you can get more energy, and so you can take care of yourself. Because doing physical workouts is a way for us as men to take care of ourselves. Women, they like to talk, and that's fine, right? They like to go to their therapist or whatever they do, but men, they need that physical outlet. So doing something physical in the morning will increase your productivity, make you happier overall, and give you energy. So that's why you could prioritize a real workout in the morning. So to recap, first thing you do is hydrate, then you get some movement in. It can be small stretching, it can be shadow boxing for 5-10 minutes, you can do some push-ups, and then in the end, you make sure that you eat or you don't eat. But if you do eat, make sure it's protein rich and with some fat. Or if you do intermittent fasting, make sure that the last meal you've had the day before was with as little carbs as possible, usually for most guys who are here. If you're an athlete, again, that's totally different. And if you want to, you can add that physical training as well to really get some energy in, and for logistic purposes, get a workout in. Now we've talked about the morning routine. If you really want to know how to make the best night routine so you can sleep better, so you can improve your sleep, go watch that video so you can see how to schedule and how to really make sure that your sleep is on point and as good as possible. Now, if you're looking to optimize your energy levels, feel better in general, increase your focus, increase your mental and physical performance without having to spend too much time in the gym, you have some money to invest and you'd rather invest your money than your time, you can book a free call with me in one of the links down below in the description, where we can talk about and figure out a plan to really make you superhuman and take your health to the next level. So if that's something you're interested in, you can book a free call with me in the link down below. You can also get in my free group where I share more of these videos, more of these tips in depth, where I do regular Q&As, and I share a small course in there where you can use that yourself if you have some more time to really integrate these things into your life. And the important thing here is that I like to integrate my system into other people's lives. You don't have to change your life or your lifestyle to do that at all. It's very simple and it's made for guys who are ambitious and who don't necessarily have that much time. So if that's you, you can join the free group down in the link in the description below. Good. So if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.